perfect time to start talking.
Welcome to Bizarro World.
That's not the channel's name. Welcome to Biscuit Tin RPG, everybody. You are here for the finale of the Red Opera. We do have a special guest who you can see has question marks underneath them. This is Rick Hines, lead writer of the campaign that we're playing. He will come in a bit later. For right now, he just gets to enjoy the show. And once we find out who Rick is, I will put a fancy new logo underneath his name because I've already prepared that far ahead for once. Other than that, I just want to give a quick shout out before we get started. I'm going to go ahead and post it in the chat. Our Kickstarter, Biscuit Tin RPG, The First Gate, A Menagerie of Madness, is going to go live whenever I click that button. So either I'm going to guess we're going for a November, December timeline, or when I get enough interest in the campaign itself, I might launch a little bit early. But for right now, we're looking at just building support and fucking go hit the notify button, please. Other than that, we'll go ahead and get started with a recap here. Session 32. We labeled no really. Betrayal. Definitely betrayal. The party has made it to the Scarlet Hearth as the Well of Souls releases a beam of energy and the sky explodes in a violent and vibrant red light that shatters the Aurora Borealis. Beams of eldritch energy lance out, cracking the sky apart, and giant chunks of it fall to the earth, only to form into giants, while a massive set of tentacles reach through the now huge hole in the cloudless night. The party seems ambivalent to the massacre around them as the giants and the tentacles begin killing warlocks, accursed guards, and legionnaires alike, seemingly ignoring the party. The party, not to be deterred from their quest to take out the Knight Captain, is rejoined by an old friend and use a combination of deceit and surprise to fell LaCroix, as the world around them begins to fall apart. Fate, unable to intervene in time to save the Knight Captain from his brutal demise, is left in shock as she watches her old friend's body slump to the ground while buildings are ripped apart and rise into the air and into the sky. Grimeyes spots a series of cultists dedicated to They Who Wait Beyond, who are currently funneling power into the breach to help bring their master through. Fate, realizing that one problem must be tackled at a time, scowls at the party and says that they need to stop this patron from making it through. The party finally take in the sights around them. Bodies litter the street. Men, women, and children from both sides lay broken and bloody like so much meat. They look to the sky and plan their next moves. And that is where we'll pick up. Just give you all a reminder. Grimeyes, you noticed in the sky there are about 6 cultists up there kind of floating on the debris. They do not seem to be paying any attention. They are just channeling their arcane warlock powers into this breach in the sky. They are about 90 feet above everyone, and more towards the center of the 2 bridges, the Stone Leg and Patron's Pass.
Okay.
There is a series of broken buildings. As you gaze on this, you start hearing the Scarlet Hearth behind you begin to crack and tear apart. Thunderous sounds as it gets ripped from the ground and starts floating upwards as well. So, with that, I will go ahead and let you all begin.
Is LaCroix wearing any I don't know, any significant markers on him, like a adornment or anything, like a badge?
The only badge that
Something
you
that-
notice on him that would be symbolic of anything is the I guess his oath of office, and basically the same patch that everyone else wears in the Legionnaires. You
Okay.
also have one.
Right, I have a patch. I'll go ahead and take that adornment then, his rank.
All right.
But I will look to the rest of the party. Says, "All right, well, oh shit. We should probably take care of this then, and then go from there."
Yes, probably now that we're done murdering the Knight Captain.
I walk past him and I say, "Icarus, he had it coming."
Anyway, so tentacles and
We were here to
haven't
save
noticed.
the city. That was our job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it though?
Yeah, I turn around. Wait, your whole job was to save the city? This is what we were supposed to be doing?
We're supposed to be keeping it together at the very least.
Okay. So we should
And
probably do something about that.
Right.
yeah,
So we should probably head to. Can we see from here where they're most concentrated, where they're dropping to in the city? You said it was center of the city, where the
So
big
the
are?
so the the cultists that are funneling power into the breach, they
Yeah. Oh,
are
yeah, yeah.
they are up in the air. So there
Okay.
are kind of some pathways to get up there via the broken buildings and parts of bridges that have been torn off, floating in the sky as well. In order to get to them, there will be a series of checks to avoid falling into the now clear and starless rush.
Starless.
Are the buildings and everything being pulled upward to float randomly, or are they being drawn towards a central point?
They
Are
are
we
all
witnessing
being
like a black hole, or
so
what?
depending on where they are in reference, the ones in the middle are kind of going up a little bit faster and heading towards the focal point of this anomaly in the sky, and then stopping as if they can't go any further because there is a giant creature plugging this hole in the sky.
all right. So let's
Yeah.
get up there and do what we do best and mess everyone's plans up.
We do that very well. You are correct.
That
Let's
is
go.
what we do best.
Can we rally some of
Including our own.
Yeah. Sure. Can we rally some nearby? What are they? Legionnaires that are fighting us, or
If you wish to try that, go ahead and. How do you want to do it? Do you want to try to be inspiring, or do you want to be
Yeah.
intimidating?
I don't know if some of them saw. I don't know how many saw, but mostly they're probably looking at what's happening right now. So I don't want to make that the focal point. I do want to inspire them to tell them that hey, the city needs everybody.
All
If
right.
you can come with us or help like move in that direction
Yeah. Or get people out
or
of
get
here.
people out of there. Yeah, like you guys that are the numbers.
So make a persuasion check.
Cool. I'm okay with this. Plus 11. Oh, that's almost a 30-20.
Oh,
That's a crit, I guess. So that's 31.
Okay. Well, the legionnaires that are surviving turn to you and figuring, well, shit, the knight captain's gone, and
Don't worry about it. We'll talk about this after.
yeah, what do you want us to do? There's like one guy that steps up.
Start just finding people. Rescue as much as you can. Rescue operations. Fend them off. Defend them from whatever is attacking the city.
They disperse off onto both sides. Fate goes, we need to hurry immediately because by the time we try to solve this, Dorian's main force will be here.
Right.
mhm.
Let's move. All right. So are we climbing? Are we trying to hop on these
Yeah.
things? Okay.
I don't have flight, unfortunately. That's
I
like the-
do.
was,
DM, I will click my heels together and use my winged boots.
All right, you will make it up there with 0 problems. So we will not have any tests from you, but the rest of you will have to make dex or acrobatics checks, and I will do a group average.
On my way up,
Athletics
looking
or
ahead and
acrobatics.
seeing that it's going to be hazardous, would I be able to cast the guidance cantrip on someone?
Yes, you would be able to.
I'm wondering if Rosina might need that.
Did you
Strong she is.
John, did you say athletics or acrobatics?
Yep.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
good.
she
I'm
might
good.
be in good shape
She's
then. Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Does anybody else need that that's not proficient in
I-
athletics?
I can go ahead and just cast Bless on the rest of the party, honestly.
I only have +2 to acrobatics, so my athletics is 1.
Then
Yeah,
I will.
my
I
athletics
will
is better,
I'll
so-
cast guidance on Icarus.
All right, and
Okay.
then I will cast Bless on everyone, except for no. I think I do everybody. Yeah, I can do everybody.
Ooh, fancy.
So it's a D4 for ability checks and attack rolls.
All right, so you get 2 die 4 to your bonus, I believe, Icarus.
Okay. 2 die 4. Awesome.
All right, I need you. There are going to be
I'll go
3
with C.
checks to get up there. I need to pull up my. Yeah, I was prepared for this.
In case you didn't know, you should check out Ko-Fi.com. There's a wonderful, wonderful place. There's Biscuit 10 RPG. And in fact, you should also go to Kickstarter, where you should look up Biscuit 10 RPG. There is a Kickstarter coming very soon. How you doing there, DM?
All right, perfect. I've got the roll system up, so y'all can roll your stuff now. We have experts on this show.
Wow. I am
That was
very
impressive.
glad I have 2 die for because I just rolled a 4.
All right, well,
That
I'm
is a
using an
total of
average, so.
8.
All right, so there we go. Everyone else, roll yours.
Just reload that page.
All right.
And DM, rather than going the full way, knowing that I can navigate pretty easily with the winged boots, I'm only going to go halfway just in case I need to do an eagle dive for someone.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Essentially got a 17 on his athletics check.
All right.
18.
10.
All right. You managed to make it past the first hurdle. Invar's, you notice Icarus about to slip, and you, as you're flying up, bump into his side, knocking him back onto the platform. You are a third of the way there. Before you is a small gap before you get to the next platform. Everyone, go ahead and make a same check while I try to figure out where the hell I've hidden my dice from myself.
I'm waiting for him to say, everyone make a wisdom check to see about the insanity of your chosen path.
That'll be a later thing.
13.
32.
I don't even know why I ask you what to do, Rosina. All right.
27.
Okay.
I'm so glad this is an average.
I'm fairly certain that saves everyone again. Invars, you are just knocking Icarus straight back onto those platforms, just having a great time.
This is, in fact, the first time I've seen a bear fly.
Yes.
18.
I
for
should have
Grimace.
asked, could I? Well, this was jumping, but like for actual climbing, shouldn't I just use my bear claws and just like actually dig into these buildings?
Well, if you had climb speed, then yes, but unfortunately, no.
Fine.
All right.
It's an
Thought I'd
impressive
ask.
sounding thing, though.
So they seem that there's, since you haven't attacked anything really, at least in this area, things are flying down trying to kill the people around. You seem to be rather unmolested by the hordes flying through this breach. Seemingly they're distracted with other things. You're getting saved by my personal dice. We need one more check to see if you can make it to the main sets of platforms up there, which will put you all in conflict with the 6 fellas and ladies, potentially, or abominations. Who knows what they are?
Essential
the
to
top.
21.
Perfect.
God. 28. Finally.
30.
Rosina
15.
just leaps and bounds ahead of everyone, just
I'm just like pulling them, straightening them up as they're like.
falling slowly. Yes. Oh shit! Get over
Is
here.
this what dying does for you? I need to try that.
Been pretty great, gotta say.
All right. You all make it up to the platform. Now, rather than do a stereotypical combat here, they are all very, very distracted with what is going on. So I need you all. Fuck. All right. I need you all to make dex saves with advantage because they're distracted. One of them tries to hurl a few spells at you. Seemingly.
Everyone besides Invars has a +5 if you're within 10 feet of me.
Does
Okay.
bless work
Well,
for that?
Or
We're all-
Bless
we're all together
definitely
now.
works for saving throws. Okay, yeah, so you get 2.
Okay,
So we add 4
24.
and 5?
Yeah,
at 5.
you add a
19.
D4 plus
Oh.
5.
29.
$23.
17.
17.
All right. Fantastic. Lucky I rolled really low. All right.
Yeah.
So,
If only I had my other ring, I could have just yeeted back an Eldritch Blast right there.
yeah, unfortunately, you don't have that other ring. It seems it
Yeah.
was found by another.
Lost forever.
Yes. So the spells go wide. A few Eldritch Blasts kind of whiz past you. There's there's a few eldritch entities that like shot at you and then were like, fuck it, going down. So there are in front of each of you. They are very just staring at the sky. There's no discernible features. Their hands seem off, like they're not quite human, but they're not humanoid either. Seems there's something otherworldly about them. But you can tell that they are so distracted by funneling the magic from themselves that they don't notice your presence. There are 6 of them, and there are 5 of you, plus Fate, who has managed to make it up this far. So, I'm going to ask each one of you to make an attack roll.
Are these melee attacks that we're making, or
They are
just
whatever
general-
roll you would like to use. If you want to use a spell, if you want to use a weapon, if you would like me to make a save, it is your
in a
choice.
particular order? You want to call out people?
I will call out in order, starting with Rosina. I assume you're going to smash them.
Yep. You assume right. Oh, 16.
You get to roll an additional die. Yeah, you get another die 4 to that because of Bless, because it is still going.
18.
Cool. Didn't matter. You hit anyway. I just wanted to give you that extra information. Y'all need to remember your rolls. All right. So go ahead and roll your damage.
That's 8 slashing.
All right. You get, since you're taking the attack action, you're going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. Go ahead and roll your damage 3 more times.
That's a 9,
All right.
11,
Mm-hmm.
8.
All right. So we'll get back to you in a second. Next is Invar's. What are you doing?
Since I don't know exactly what's going on here quite yet, I'm going to use the spear that is in fact a living weapon. Thank you, DM. And using my mimic spear, stab at it. That is a crit hit. 28.
All
before
right.
the bless, or before no, I'm not blessed, so that's a straight critical hit.
Okay.
And
You are going to roll your damage.
It's how do we do the crits? now
So you're
here?
going to roll your damage 2
and then
times.
double it. Okay,
All right.
so total of 17.
All right.
And that is magic, living weapon. Doesn't
Yeah.
it bite? Doesn't it also try to bite?
Yes, it does. I believe you get an extra 2 die 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's yours, so I'll trust you.
Well, I don't remember because it was written on your character sheet.
Well, that's just fine. I can pull it up and look at it. Yes, 2d6. 1d6 of piercing, 1d6 of acid. So 6 piercing, 3 acid.
All right. We'll get back to you in a second. Icarus.
So, as a bonus action, real quick, I'm just going to activate my Eldritch Claw tattoo, which gives me an extra d6. And then I'm going to smack it with my bear claws.
All right. You have magical bear claws. Roll to hit.
That is a 26 to hit.
All right. You are going to roll your damage twice.
So 19 plus, sorry, d6 plus 5, and one more time, d7 plus d6 plus 1. So that's a total of 52 damage.
All right. We'll get right back to you. Grim Eyes. You going to stab something with your bacon weapon?
I am.
But you have to describe it.
It is a rolling pin that has bacon wrapped around the end of it. Just gonna-
Fantastic.
Bop him around the top of the head with it.
All right. Roll to hit. You have advantage.
27.
Nailed it. All right. Roll your damage 2 times.
2
And
times.
you really
Okay.
pinned that guy. Wait, no, I should have said you really rolled him. dang it.
That would be 12 radiant.
Fantastic. We will come back to you in
Holy
a moment.
bacon.
Essential. I will
Okay,
roll for fate. Oh, good.
I'll just make a melee attack, I guess.
Yep.
It's a 16.
All right. You're going to roll your...
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You go ahead. Roll your damage, and you're going to roll your damage 2 times.
That is radiant. Where am I radiant? Okay. Anyway, that's 22 points of damage.
Okay. Fate also draws her sword and slides it out and swings, slicing. And as if in unison, as you all run towards your respective foes, those of you that did radiant damage on top, not only does it sever the magic that is pouring out from them, they explode. As if the feedback from the magic they were giving out suddenly pulses back into them and just gore and viscera explodes upon you. So Grim Eyes, I know that you did radiant damage, so you are covered in the ill-gotten gains of your rolling pin of doom. Fate also has met the same fate. I'm very proud of that one for some reason. Rosanna, yours splatters for a completely different reason. Invar's, the acid melts away slowly at the creature that stood before you as it melts into a puddle on the ground. Now, as each one of these individuals falls and seemingly either dissipates, explodes, or vanishes, you see the power last for a split second that was there feed back up, and as quickly as it was being drawn, gets ripped from this breach in the sky, and the breach slams halfway closed. A massive tentacle is severed on the north and south side of this breach in the sky, and you hear, I need everyone to make a wisdom save.
Wisdom.
+5 if you're within 10 feet of me.
You're all good.
Oh, Jesus.
25.
That was a nat 1. We're a total of 11.
Oh, hold on. Plus D4.
Mm-hmm.
29.
22.
34.
All right,
Very
Very
Icarus.
wise.
Icarus,
Yeah.
you hear this screech, this abyssal bellow from above you, and not only is it coming from above you, but it enters your head, and you are paralyzed in terror for 2 minutes. You cannot move.
Someone catch me before I fall on my face.
No one knows yet.
Is he frightened?
Yes, he is terrified. You
because
see
he's-
him seize.
Because
place.
he's within 10 feet of me, I have the Aura of Courage, which means anyone within 10 feet of me cannot be frightened.
Oh, fantastic. Well, good for you. I'm happy about that.
Good for you. Go fuck yourself.
I'm a
Yeah,
paladin.
Next time I'm gonna go ahead and make it not
Paladin,
fear-based, you son of a
yeah!
bitch.
There's a
Noted.
paladin and a cleric in Yon Catholic.
Yeah, he essential basically comes over and like slaps me in the face and like, get over it, man.
Get over it. All right.
You're better than this.
So as this portal begins to slam shut, the creatures screech to a halt, and all of these floating eyeballs and these weird, disgusting maw-esque creatures that were ignoring you. Anybody with a passive insight or passive perception of higher than 13 notices that they stop going into the city and start turning around, and they are beelining for you. Hundreds of these creatures, some flying eyeballs. The maws are galloping up the rails. The only clear path, it seems, is one particular path that leads off to the left of where you came up, which would take you back to Patron's Pass. Fate, noticing what's happening, says, "Oh hell. Shit. We've got to go." And she's like, "Just follow me. We'll make a haven in what's left of the Scarlet Hearth. Quickly."
I think we've got their attention. Let's go.
And we'll see. All right.
Hmm.
So, you are all presumably running, or if you're going to be careful.
Yep.
Yep. I'm going to need you to make 2 saves on the way back down to avoid stumbling and hurting yourselves, as I make random attacks at you as you're running down, because you are not going to escape this.
Has a minute passed already?
You have about 1 round left, so
Okay.
you got 6 seconds.
Are these athletics and acrobatics again?
And DM, am I subject to these now that we're being attacked, or
You will have to make dexterity checks in order. If you're going to continue flying, you're going to have to make athletics or acrobatics checks to avoid being hit by the other flying creatures that are coming your way.
Oh dear.
Okay.
What are my options there, DM? If I can not fly, I can run, or
Yeah, you can fly. You can run like the rest of them. If
just
you
be
can
running.
teleport.
can I teleport? I can do that.
Essentially,
Is
got
it
31
distance based or?
with athletics.
Because I mean, I can drop to all fours and run 20 feet faster.
Okay. And that will not impose any disadvantages on you for going faster than your normal running speed
Okay.
or walking speed. But if you go double, you will be at a disadvantage going down here.
Mm. I'm just running. Let me get my calculator up with my health.
There are 5 of you. All right. All right. We'll go backwards this time. Essentially, I need you to make both of your checks to get down.
So first one is a 19.
Okay.
And the second, I'm gonna use a athletics check. I'm gonna be running, I guess.
Okay.
Is a 26. I don't need to roll a d4, I guess.
Nope. So, you, as you're running down the first one, you only take half of this. But as you're running, one of those eyeballs that was flying around actually opens up, and its eye turns into a mouth and bites onto you. You take,
That's horrifying.
yeah.
Who would
You
do
take
that?
7 necrotic damage as it bites into you.
That's well deserved. I like it.
All right. Grim Eyes.
My save was, oh god, I don't know the numbers.
Well, if you don't remember it, you're going to roll it again.
17.
All right. You need to make 1 more.
And
You can add a die 4 to that first one.
I did.
Okay, so that was okay.
So that was 17 with the die 4, and then 16 with this one.
Oof. All right. You take 25 necrotic damage as you're hit by one of the maws jumping from one platform to the other, and as you're trying to dodge it, you inadvertently fly right into the mouth of a floating eyeball. Icarus, let's see how you roll.
Is that an attack?
They are both attacks, physical.
Can I use a reaction to stab one of those?
Absolutely.
Cool. I will do so. Not stab. Rolling pin
All
one
right.
of those.
Go ahead and rolling pin one of them.
That
You do
away,
not
and I-
rolling pin one of
No,
them. That is a natural one.
that was a natural one.
That was very surprising. You were just like, ah!
Flailed with a rolling pin.
You
It's
did.
fine.
All right, Icarus, your saves.
First one was a 15 with the D4, and then second one, 12. Great. How much damage do I take?
You're not gonna like it.
I have over 100 health. I'm fine.
Oh, such confidence.
All right.
I mean, on a scale of 1 to 139, I'm at 129.
Fucking scales. All right, that is 12. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Today's math brought to you by the Abacus. Teaching people for years math.
42 necrotic damage as you were attacked
Right.
by a swarm of
42?
eyeballs. Yes, 4-2.
The right answer.
I'm still fine.
It is the answer to the life, the universe, and everything. Invarse.
First roll is a 17. I don't get any pluses, I don't think.
Ooh, you lucky bastard.
And second roll is an 8.
So your first one was what?
17.
Okay. All right. That is full for both. That's 10, 12. You take 25 necrotic damage as you're running down a one of those maw creatures, shambles over and tackles and takes a bite before you manage to rip yourself from its jaws and keep running down, making it to the ground. Rosina, our intrepid smasher.
My first save was a 26,
All right.
and my second save was a 29.
All right. You will take half damage, you lucky bastard. All right. That's 10.
You just like throw one of the monsters into the other one.
You take 15 necrotic damage on your way down as another swarm of eyeballs lays siege to you before you bat them away handily with your fantastically magical axe. You all
So
make
she
it to
batted
the...
an eye.
Nobody batted an eye but Rosina. You all make it back to the crumbling remains of what is the front door of the Scarlet Hearth. Fate urging you all inside. There's not much left of the building, but there is just enough to really hold off, at least for a few minutes, the oncoming hordes of monstrosities. Everyone make a perception check.
Is my passive perception of 22 enough that I don't have to make that check?
Sure.
16.
Cool.
Oh. I got a natural 20 for a 21.
Nice.
16.
All right.
18.
All right, everybody got above a 15. Perfect. So you're starting to see that the wound in the sky is closing further, and another tentacle falls off, smashing through the black span.
Shit.
And seeing this, you see that the other remaining, there's like 30 tentacles of this massive creature that are through, and they're starting to withdraw. However, the creatures below notice this as well and begin turning on one another. So there are some still coming towards the Scarlet Hearth directly after you, the ones that had been attacking you, but the rest of them seem to be preoccupied with either killing the civilians or the legionnaires or the accursed guard that happen to be in the area, women, men, and children that still stand somehow and are not locked inside of their houses, become the targets. And off in the distance, you see the march of King Dorian heading your way. You have approximately 15 minutes, give or take, before he gets there and storms the Scarlet Hearth. And with that, everyone, you turn as fate barricades the door, and you're greeted by a familiar face. Majin stands at the top of the stairs, leading down to what presumably was the entrance to the rush. However, the darkness of the well itself is clear. And as you look down upon it, you see that that's the Well of Souls, or what appears to be the entrance to it. Fate simply says, I don't know what we can do. We could have potentially taken Dorian out if we had had LaCroix's help, but I don't know what options we have left.
What can we do?
Options. There's always options. Majin, looks down at everybody and pulls out a pomegranate from underneath one of their many robes and actually dabbles a little bit of salt on it before taking a bite from the pomegranate. Isn't everything
That's how you eat
a little...
pomegranate.
What do you
Sorry.
mean it's not how you eat a pomegranate? Have you ever had a pomegranate?
Many times. Anyway, continue.
This is quite delicious this way, I assure you. But there's always options. And how are things faring on the outside?
Well,
Not well.
you can say we got a lot of eyes on us.
Okay.
Sorry.
That was an
couldn't
awful
resist the joke.
pun.
If you didn't already have inspiration.
So I noticed that we're missing one very large oafish but lovable legionnaire.
Well, sir, someone certainly didn't love him. We can say that. Well,
We
his axe did.
Smashed him up.
I'm not the one that and I look at it, Rosina, not the one that killed him. But...
well, I'm not the one that started the fight.
Oh, please, I'm not here to judge.
Yeah.
By all means, I needed you to make the choice that you've actually made. And, well, you guys have figured out why they call me the betrayer, right?
I can only assume.
And what is the assumption, actually? I'm always curious to hear this.
Well, honestly, for my part, I always thought it was a bit of a misdirection on your part that to give yourself a bit of an advantage in every deal that you made. So, I don't know about the others, though.
Pretty sure it's just for fun at this point.
Oh, well, okay. That's actually pretty close, but
Oh shit.
yeah, you're spot on, Essential. Nice. No, I mean, I suppose I do betray, but that moniker was actually given to me by the patrons for... I'm the one who betrayed all of the patrons that work for Dorian. And he starts flipping his pomegranate and walking down the stairs as the energies in the well continue to swirl. He says, one way or another, Dorian had made just one too many deals and never listened to the great old ones. She who shudders with the lidless eyes out there. Very much never were able to get quite or never able to gain entry into the Scarlet Hearth. Dorian never wanted to cut a deal with them. Lacroix always cautioned him against it with good reason, and it was a stalemate between the two of them that would never, ever break. Unfortunately, if I killed one of the two of them, somebody would just come along and resurrect them. Some god would get involved, somebody would wish somebody back from the dead. I mean, really, death is kind of a joke these days. Don't you agree?
Why, in fact, I do.
It's meaningless. It no longer has the same purpose. And all of these patrons and all of the people out there, all of the screams, the wishes, the begging, the pleas for help, the encroachments for more power, slowly but surely, they all make their way through this well. And he gestures back to the well behind him as threads of fate start spiraling out into the palm of Majin's hand. Every pact, every wish, every miracle, everything that warlocks and patrons want, move through this well now. If I had fixed this, or fate had fixed it, or somebody else had done it, gods would have taken notice. But right now, I think the gods are more interested in looking at a giant eyeball that, like, smacks against the window. And I know I don't want to bore you.
We were pretty distracting too. I mean, some of us aren't even from this dimension, so I mean, I imagine we're kind of like a reality show for some of them.
Oh, it's been glorious. And I don't want to bore you with some pointless villain monologue, because actually you are some of my favorite people in the world right now. You made a choice, and now we get to watch what happens. It's going to be vastly quieter, with a lot less people asking for wishes and power. The patrons are going to have more say now. Dorian's armies and the Accursed Guard are going to perhaps be unified throughout the entire world. Every warlock is now going to have the ability to make deals with multiple patrons. Can you imagine how that's going to change the world? It's going to be fascinating to watch.
Give and the take, bartering, well,
I mean,
I've switched patrons a few times myself, so
but
I can see the appeal.
Yeah, and getting the powers and benefits, like the Accursed Guard have already found a way to, follow in Dorian's footsteps just a little bit, but now they can have multiples. Every warlock might have that option, and that's going to change, I think, the world in at least a more interesting and better way. It's going to get a little weird, but maybe weird is good.
With a laugh, Invar slaps the back of Majin. This is the best time I've had since I've got here. Like the world tree itself, rot at the roots. It must be torn out to start again. I like you more than I did before, but not much yet.
You are
He
close.
scares me more than you now.
And like Majin, like when you like slap Majin on the back, they are totally a frail, tiefling.
And I'm a big dragon boy.
Yeah, underneath that. And so, there's definitely that eyebrow raise and maybe a little bit of a, flirtatious, like, hello, when you get a little rough. But Majin, looks back and just is like, well, yes, exactly. As the world burns away, it will get quieter, and the new can grow again.
This is what I've been telling all of you. At the Well of Souls, this is what I said. In order for the new to grow, the old must pass. Let us hearken it.
And to this, we just need to watch Dorian finish his crusade, and Hill and his mercenary armies will go out throughout the world and wreak havoc on it through every warlock out there.
He'll teach the good word to the other warlocks.
Oh, there's no need to teach the good word or spread things. All packs now move through this well. All packs move through me. I am the well.
Say that again.
I never should have been given consciousness. Never should have been given form. And I don't know when exactly it came about, but I am the manifestation of all packs. The more warlocks there are, the more wishes and desires and imbalances in the world. Every creature seeking to become a god as a patron has to tie their threads of fate through somewhere, and every person dreaming in their bedroom at night that they could wield eldritch powers without any training, those dreams connected at a nexus point. They connected at a point in this world or between worlds, long time ago. And I whispered to Dorian and Lacroix and got them to come here and settle the Shadelands. I whispered and got citizens and the Glauber, and I reached out bit by bit to build this place that we see around us. And as more energies coalesced around here, I was finally given form to experience what it's like to be one of you. And I will say, this substance called food is fascinating. There's a lot of other substances and procedures that go along with this that are curious as well, but this well, I am the manifestation of it. And I wanted one of two things. I wanted simply for the patrons to be given what they were asking for, so that the other side would be quiet. Or I wanted the legionnaires to rise and silence the patrons once and for all. Once that imbalance was struck between the two sides, I could finally control that, and I needed fate to repair that last bit of energy in the well. And so he turns to Fate and says, "Thank you."
Fate is dumbstruck. She doesn't. She understands bits and pieces, but now that she's understanding the full story, she just drops to her knees, realizing that she was in fact just another pawn in a much bigger game.
Don't look
So
so.
you're very much helped by the hands of fate. It's so
Very
interesting.
well, and
No.
Icarus, I really enjoy your puns. I'm going to miss them if Dory decides to kill you. You might be lauded heroes in his realm. I really don't know which way he's going to go with that. But Fate, don't look so forlorn. You were more than just a pawn. If I took action, gods would notice.
They might not.
I think you're a bit of an atypical case.
There's
How-
always some god who notices.
So how are you my patron if you're the well?
I wear many hats and many things. Like I said, I am given form. I take on many forms, and Majin kind of like shape changes a little bit. They're already kind of, genderless, and they quickly shift from like tiefling to like a bit of a dragonborn to a pixie to a devil. And then back into the form of Majin. And he says, I can take on whatever dream or desire you need when that time is relevant. Patrons come in many shapes and sizes. They could be a fae in the wilderness that simply wants to expand their forest, or they could be she who shudders with the lidless eyes, eager to just experience what a taste of time is like.
Oh,
So, I'm yours. because I needed a plan B. I mean, if fate didn't decide to repair the well, Rosina, I knew you never would have failed.
Oh,
I would have to say, you picked a pretty good candidate for a plan B. She saved all of our butts, like
Constantly.
many, many times.
I still feel bad about letting her fucking die.
that's like the best thing ever.
Does not change the fact that it happened, and I still feel guilty.
And then you jump scared us. Well, not jump scared, but like your body disappeared, and then you were just there. And
Weekend
anyway,
at Bernie's.
So I have a question for all of you. What are you going to do now as the world is changed evermore?
I mean, it's not my world, so I actually personally don't care.
I mean, it could affect your world as well. This is ultimately going to
Well-
span anywhere that there's a patron, and anywhere that there's a warlock, and anywhere that somebody wishes for power that they don't have yet. Which I
Wow.
think is a pretty common human endeavor.
Well, if it's the end of the world, we still hold a favor, and
Oh, I didn't say anything about the end of the world just yet. That is probably going to come in just a little bit more time. I think it's just going to be a world that's a little bit stranger that favors warlocks all over. No longer are they going to be the persecuted, forlorn, moody outcasts that they once were. Now that patrons can have clear access, and as long as they want to pay a toll.
does that mean that the patrons have more access to the world, and I can actually have my husband back? Like, that's kind of the whole point of why I'm here.
Oh, yes. I actually don't see why that would be something that would. Dorian himself may go fetch him for you. You guys did just eliminate the only balancing factor, the only person who knew how to truly get under his skin.
Fate stands up and says, You speak in riddles, but are you offering us the ability to change what has already come to pass?
Not really. I'm curious to see if you want to change what's come to pass. If you wish to change what's already happened, well, I'm certain that the dead and even the Legionnaires and Lacroix are bound to be cutting deals in hell to plot the revenge for when they return. Dorian is marching here to this day, and when those doors open, you will either be killed by him, and he gestures to fate, forced to return to him, or lauded as his greatest heroes. Are you happy with the destiny that you have picked?
I don't see any way around it, so I will try to make the best of what has transpired. The choice was made for me, it seems.
No, you always made the choice. You reached out for the power you need to make the things right that you needed. The imbalance in this city, Fate, between Lacroix and Dorian was gone mad. Now that the patrons have more access and the well has been restored, you could help govern this city in a better, more balanced way. You will never be able to stop and contain this. The Shadelands will forevermore be a safe haven to warlocks. Patrons will have more access here. If they said before, is this a city for patrons or a city for warlocks? We know the answer now. This is a place where patrons come to pick out potential warlocks, not the other way around.
It's a place for the lost, for the lonely, the weirdos who never fit in. It's a place where they can actually have a chance at, you know, whether that's taking revenge on the world or making a better place. Honestly, I'm happy with what's happened. I'm just, if anything, I would kind of like the buildings to be restored at least a little bit so that people have a place to continue
Oh, that can be
gathering.
handled by lesser people when they choose to rebuild.
Mm,
I'm not here to snap my fingers and be a genie to grant every wish that
oh
pops
no.
up out there. But if there is something that you aren't happy with your destiny, I'm certainly willing to listen. This is probably one of the last times that, at least for the near future, you and I are going to have a chance to make a deal or cut a discussion when the well is at full power.
Full power, you say, now.
Yes.
Well, Majin, I pledge myself to you indeed. If you can help me bring about the same change to other realms.
That is a deal I would happily make. And you will feel that arcane energy and that infusion of Majin's energy grant you the ability to even start seeing webs of fate and strands that start tying little wisps of threads that go back to the well. Many of them are still coming off of fate. You can see Dorian, even though he's outside, you can see that he still has a major role to play in events to come. Deep down below in Hades itself, you can see, like, throughout the Shadelands, legionnaires falling into purgatory, amassing themselves into another army around the banner of a very dead Lacroix. And Majin says, there's two sides to every tale. And this story here may not be done yet, but we've pulled it off now without having any divine intervention. And now we know the recipe that we can use to even kill a god.
As it should be.
And Majin turns to everybody else. Any of you wish to change any destinies before Dorian opens up the door? Essential. You were really gunning for Lacroix. Why?
Well, originally the plan in my head, maybe a couple days ago, was to take hold of the Legion and challenge Dorian for the power in the city. Now, I don't know if you think Dorian is still suitable to continue his work, but I returned home for not a measly farm off by the Cricket Tower where my parents reside, looking for something grander. If it's possible, through you, since the well is now open, I could take Dorian's place. That is what I wish, as I was the one instrumental in finishing old Lacroix.
Take Dorian's place, the king.
Mhm. I know it's very grand, but I figured I'd give it a chance.
There is a potential. There is a pathway that goes down, and there's a pathway that all of you could end up, including Fate, in charge of the Shadelands. Completely. That's not a thing that would happen in a single night, and it might involve many of you dying for a period of time. Because usually when you're in purgatory, you get time to think, hone your skills, reflect your power, change your talents as they will. And then when you're brought back with that singular minded purpose, you would be brought back with an army of legionnaires at your command to wipe Dorian and his accursed guard off the face of the earth.
On second thought, Invars. That was a grand scheme you have. Wherever Invars goes, I'm just looking to continue to pursue my oath of conquest as I made so many years ago. So I will also pledge my axe to you in search of glory this time.
Hell, I'm in. I'd like to see some of the other realms and maybe bring down a few more annoying people. And wow, I'm sure there's a few people that could be directed to the Shadelands to actually find a place to stay.
With all of you, wait, there's one yet. And he turns to the one who hasn't spoken yet with the radiant bacon stick of Pin. He actually points to your bacon roller and says, is that pig?
Yes.
Did it smash an eyeball at least once?
I tried. Didn't hit it.
I would be curious on what aberrant pig would taste like. Anyway, what about you? You're the last one left.
I'm kind of ambivalent, so I'll just go with the rest of the group. I really, honestly, I just want to go home after all of this is done.
Well, you can't go home, but I can't make the choice for you, and neither can your companions. If you wish to conscript and be some of my first warlocks,
Sure.
then you're in. And with this, Majin gives, they reach out their hands and they give each of you a pomegranate seed. And Majin flourishes out and pulls out a series of letters. These letters, each in some way tied to you in some conscription method that Majin had. And says, there are many patrons in this world and in other worlds that are deserving of death. There are many gods that are deserving of death. There are many things that continue to live in this endless cycle of blasphemy that need to be met and have their final ash. And the only way to truly kill something is to make them forgotten and bury them in the annals of history. And the only way that we can achieve such a task is if we ourselves are but whispers on the minds of others, whispers on the lips, because we ourselves are forgotten in the world. And so while I think that being Dorian the Accursed King's most heralded and prized champions, if you truly wish to bring about destiny and tragedy to other worlds and kill that which cannot be killed, then we all have to be forgotten for just a little while. And with this, Majin starts burning your letters and severing your strands of fates and ties to your friends, your connectors, your loved ones, freeing you from everything that bound you to the world, both material, debts owed, collector favors that you may have, not even known that you've accrued, obligations and like weights lifted off of your shoulders. You can feel your karmic debts be severed. You each also start seeing these threads that I described to Invars, where you can start seeing people's motives and beliefs and desires moving through the well. As each letter gets burned and each karmic thread gets snapped off, you can start seeing the favors and debts on ahead, like the karmic debts above people as they walk outside. So if somebody screaming from an eyeball still, running away into their house, if that person just by a glance had broken a promise or broken a favor. And as Dorian begins marching up, Dorian begins to come close to the Scarlet Hearth. you all feel confident that while Dorian may see you, you all know you are under Majin's protection and free and clear from Dorian truly recognizing you. And with that, I'm going to hand it back over.
You all are some crazy motherfuckers. All right. With that, Dorian bashes in the front door. The screams of folks outside seem to be slowing and dying down. The apparitions that were chasing you seem to have quieted, and the only thing you hear is the sound of a vacuum, and then you hear a loud pop. And with your newfound powers, you look up and you see that the sky has sealed back once more. The apparitions that were all around have vanished, as if into thin air. And all that you see is Dorian and his army standing at the Scarlet Hearth, walking down to the well itself, directing his men to start fixing some of the doors up to at least give the magical pathways to the patrons that once held this place as their meeting room a way in, and begins a ceremony. A cursed guard that you had seen in the palace walk by you. You know, some of them walk up and go, you okay? It's a good thing you survived. It seems most of the fighting's over. You're all free to, go find refuge. If you wish to stay, just make sure you stay out of the way. Dorian begins a ritual blood magic, as if to... None of you recognize this. This is a ritual far beyond anything you've really come to understand, but you get the basis of it. It's a ritual that's meant to rebind the patrons to this world, and alas, give them a little bit more of a hold than once previously stated, just as Majin predicted. You all manage to... some of you may sit and watch as the ritual completes. Some of you may go out and just take a view of the city. A city in shambles. Patron's Pass has been obliterated. There are now two separated sides of that bridge. There are damages to, not Patron's Pass, but the Black Span is severed. Stone Leg has large chunks missing of it. Wherever the tentacles may have fallen, it seems they've dissipated as well. All that's left behind is future mass graves. Legionnaires fallen. Essential, you see out of the corner of your eye that there are a few of the Legionnaires that realize that it is far too late and have begun running. Not a cadre, at most one or two here and there, barely escaping with their lives, throwing down their weapons, and just, it's too much. You all head your separate directions to regroup when the time is right, when Majin calls you all together to begin your next journey. Over the next few weeks, things in the Shadelands change. You all get a much-needed rest. However, no one remembers you. You go to inns. It's like they're meeting a brand new person for the first time. Welcome to the inn. It'll be a copper for the night. All of the deeds you've done throughout the city completely forgotten, as if you were never here at all. But as you stay here in just a little bit, you notice that bit by bit, the Shadelands become a little more otherworldly. New temples begin to be constructed, and more permanent planar gates are also constructed. The vision the king had for the Shadelands is to serve as the de facto home on the material plane for all warlocks and creatures tied to the outside. The Shadelands slowly grow more and more inhumane. resembling less a city of mortals and more a place of myth and weird walking the streets. The world is now a little bit weirder and a little bit stranger. And it seems now that Dorian has taken the throne, the other kingdoms that were trying their hand at beginning their attack on this city realize that now's not the right time. And they slowly back away back to their previous their home nations to begin plotting for whatever war or battle they need to fight next, while still keeping a close eye on this very, very dark place. No longer ruled by warlocks, the city of patrons. Before we close out, I'm going to read out the remaining letters of the folks who had not died. Rosina, we already read your letter because you died pretty early on, and Majin knows all about your story. So we're going to go in the order that I draw these. Grim-Ice, I hope I can read in the dark. It's the one downside to having a little bit of light. To my dear Firehair, I write you now in the hopes that my words will arrive in some swift manner. I have made an arrangement with a very kindly elven man, and he has agreed to assist me in my endeavor to find new tricks and acts for the carnival. Some that can't possibly go wrong, as did the last performance your brother undertook. I swear your entire family seems destined to set themselves on fire in some manner. And I hope that your hair is still the exception to the rule. I so adore when your hair flickers in the torchlight as your family performs, like molten bronze. But I worry constantly that some relation of yours will set it ablaze in an accident. I do hope your brother's face has recovered some manner of feeling since his beard caught alight. The elven man promises that his friends will keep an eye on the carnival in my absence, and I hope he keeps his word. As while he is a kind fellow, I get the strange feeling that he doesn't have too many friends that like our kind as much as he seems to. Our journey will be leading us into a lively forest of light and color. He says, so when I return, I hope your painter's mind will be ready to paint the most magnificent sights from my travels. Perhaps I can even return with some exotic plants or animals to entertain the viewers as well. Enclosed, find a picture of the man I've made this deal with. Pitiful as it might be, you know I have no talent for art. I am far better with words than I am with your forte of painting and drawing. Enclosed is a shitty drawing that makes Picasso look like realism of an archfey pretending to be an elf. I'll get to what happens with these in a moment. Essential! Oh, good. This one's actually sealed. That was not on purpose. His letter is to Tefana, mistress of the seven sea legs. My mistress, my queen, my patron goddess. I long for our extensive and passionate nights atop. Why'd you have to write words I can't pronounce? Trireme?
It's a certain boat. Yeah, just say a certain boat. It's okay.
Okay,
Don't force yourself.
Fancy-ass boat, floating above the dark and looming waters of the sea. Within our eyes and blood-soaked steel crossed paths during the pillage of the Nine Pennies Bay. I knew my heart was yours and yours alone. Alas, if only I could offer my soul. You, my orca of death, my seaborn killer. I give you my soul in the form of my passion, my romance, my memories, my love. This is proclamation. This proclamation is my proof to you that I exist, that our bonds exist. To any of the naysayers and fools who wish us harm and ill fate, I spit on them. I cleave flesh and lop their heads for you. The waters will claim me one day, but I write before you that my soul I wish to give to thee, is yours, forever, for all time, until we swim together again. Your great blue whale. Essential. That was beautiful.
And then he went and sold his soul.
Yep.
Just a piece of it. Just a piece of it.
Oh, the one I was kind of dreading, because I saw how this was written. All right, hang on. Bear with me, Invars. Your
Oh
letter.
God.
Lo, I do call out to you, uncle of mine, son of mischief, nephew of thunder, sibling to wolf and the dead. Your infinite scales wrap upon each other, there seldom is a single wave. So I shall make many. My spit upon the unworthy, grant to me one drop of your venom. My destination reached through, though I travel slowly. Lend to me one snap of your speed. As held by your mother, I am small. Share to me one clutch of your strength. I will use these gifts to tighten your coils, that the worlds of mortal know their despair is right, that the realms of gods know their twilight has arrived, that your great purpose be fulfilled, and all return to quiet rest. Lo, I do call out to you, uncle of mine. As our way is withheld, I depart from the nest of learning. A call is heard, and I must answer. A promise of power beyond mortals, that I may hasten the day of the released tale, and to silence the hall of the slain. The seas do not rest, nor shall I, unceasing and wild, until the destiny of the old is done. That was metal as fuck.
Yeah.
Love
are
letter
some
of a
really
priest.
These are some really good letters, guys.
Yeah, these are great.
They're fucking crazy.
Icarus!
Boy.
Amadon, my beloved husband, I fear I must go. I have heard to whispers of the world, the stars themselves warn of danger. I must go into that frightful world, but my heart remains forever with you, O beloved. Light a candle for me, so that your love may guide me home to you. Darling, I wish I had not gone this way. We were so happy. Peace had come at last. Know that I, your loving husband, will never forget you. Look to the stars, my love, and feel me looking back. The world is so large and fierce. I fear I must fight once again. Keep yourself safe, secure in the pacts we made on that happy day. My heart, my soul, my life, ever yours. In everlasting love, Icarus.
No matter
Now-
which world it is, Amadon always is somebody's love.
Well, I actually came up with that name before I even read the book. So I didn't know that he was an actual patron because I was like going through Google Translate, and that's Amadon means fool in Irish.
Yes. So, one thing you all notice now that your letters have been burned. When you looked at yourselves, you saw some of the weaves of fate. You could see where they connected to your loved ones. As the letter burns, they dissipate and disappear. And with your new connection to seeing how everything kind of works, every person that knew you, loved ones, patrons, collectors, and even gods, have forgotten your names. You live on in anonymity from henceforth. Thus ends the Red Opera. You all gain a level. And good night!
Bye.
Thank you everyone for joining us. We hope you had a wonderful time. Please go check out the old ones that we have all the way up to here. Ignore episode 20. That was just me talking and you couldn't hear them. I have an apology up there as well. It's on YouTube under Biscuit 10 RPG. Go take a look. Other than that, thank you so much for joining us on this ride. I do not know when I will next DM. I've got so many freaking campaign books that I've ordered on Kickstarter that I'm not sure which one I'm going to do next. But
I kind of want to run too. Oh boy.
I hope you all had a wonderful time in this campaign. You were all joys as players. And with that, join us tomorrow for City of Illumination with Mike running and probably taking out all of the bullshit I've put on him tonight on me tomorrow, the Blue Half-Orc. Have a good night, everyone.